Cardiology is a branch of medicine that deals with disorder of the heart and the cardiovascular system. So the heart is the human body hardest working organ. This is because heart work 24 hours a day to keep us living. This is the reason why I developed an interest in studying the human heart. Also want to learn more about the anatomy and function of the heart and am intrigued by the job of a cardiologist. So in this presentation, I'm going to talk about anatomy of the heart, biochemistry, the physiology, the disorder of the heart, and famous practitioner in cardiology. Heart anatomy. First and famous, the heart built up by 4 chambers, the right and left ventricle as well as the right and left atria. While the left atria and ventricle will supply oxygenated blood throughout the body, then the right atria and ventricle receive the oxygenated blood from all body parts. Heart has 4 valves, which are the tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve, aortic valve, and pulmonary valve. Blood will flow to the heart at the right atrium by the superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and coronary sinus. Then, through the right ventricle and transported to the lungs by the pulmonary trunk. At the same time, blood comes to the heart at the left atrium by the pulmonary artery and goes through the left ventricle, then the aorta. That further divided into brachiocephalic arteries, the left common carotid artery, the left subclavian artery, then to all body parts. 3 types of artery connected with the heart: arterioles, muscular, and elastic. Venules, which line beside arterioles, are bigger blood vessels, made up of a combination of vein and capillaries. Blood will flow from postcapillary venules into the progressively bigger veins. Next, let's move on to the biochemistry part. I choose to talk about hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the red blood pigment exclusively found in erythrocyte. Hemoglobin is a conjugate protein containing globin, the apoprotein part, and the heme, the non-protein part. Structure of globin is that globin consists of 4 polypeptide chains and 2 different primary structures. The 4 subunits of hemoglobin are held together by non-covalent interaction, primarily hydrophobic, ionic, and hydrogen bond. Each subunit contains a heme. Structure of heme. The characteristic red color of hemoglobin is due to heme. Heme consists of 4 furan molecule, namely furan 9, with iron at its center. Hemoglobin performs 2 important biological functions concerned with respiration. It is delivery of O2 from the lungs to the tissue and transport of carbon dioxide from tissue to the lung for expression. Transport of oxygen is where 1 hemoglobin molecule, made up of 4 heme, can link to 4 oxygen molecules. In other words, each heme moiety can bind with 1 molecule of oxygen. Hemoglobin reaches 4 oxygen saturation in the lungs due to high concentration of oxygen present in the air. On the other hand, oxyhemoglobin releases oxygen for cellular respiration in tissue with low oxygen concentration. Moreover, the carbon dioxide is transported by the blood to the lung as bicarbonate ion, binding with hemoglobin or dissolved in plasma. Psychology of the heart. Have you ever wondered why that brain patient still can actually alive with the heart still beating when we aware that brain is the control center of the body? The answer is because of cardiac conduction. Let's talk about cardiac conduction. Myocardium can be divided into 2 types, which are nodal cells and contractile cells. The nodal cells consist of SA node, AV node, a bundle of his, left and right bundle branches, and Purkinje fibers, while contractile consists of actin, myosin, troponin, tropomyosin, and sarcoplasmic reticulum. The nodal cell is the one that can generate automaticity, their ability to spontaneously generate an electric impulse. In conclusion, that's how our heart beat and contract throughout our lifetime. An electrical signal is first started in the heart natural pacemaker, the SA node, and then it passes through the AV node, the bundle of His, the left and right bundle branches which conduct the impulse to the heart apex, and finally it reaches the Purkinje fiber over the ventricular myocardium, which causes the heart to contract. Possible disorder of heart. Let's talk about heart block. Heart block is a group of disease characterized by presence of an obstruction or a block in the heart electrical pathway. As we know, The heart electrical signal are initiated in each natural pacemaker as a node to AV node, to bundle of his, to the Purkinje fiber. A block may slow down the conduction of electrical impulse, or in severe case, it can completely stop them. Heart block can be classified by its location, where it's occur. So it can be SA nodal block, AV nodal block, intrahesian block, bundle branch block, and vesicular block. If not otherwise specified, the phrase heart block is used to describe AV block. So now we know that heart block is same as AV block. So what is AV block? AV block is a condition where the heart beats more slowly or with an abnormal rhythm. The electrical signal are slow to reach the ventricle or completely interrupted before reaching the ventricle. There are 3 degrees of AV block. First degree of AV block, in ECG we can see a longer PR interval of more than 5 small squares. This is because the electrical signals are slow as they pass from the SA node to the AV node, but all of them eventually reach the ventricle. It can cause symptom or problem, but not require treatment. Second degree AV block then further divided into type 1 and type 2. Type 1, the electrical signal are delayed further and further with each heartbeat until a beat is missing completely. Progressive prolongation of PR interval followed by a P wave without QRS complex will show in the ECG. And type 2 is when the electrical signal do not reach the ventricle. In ECG, this is seen as intermittent non-conducted P wave. PR interval remain constant in conducted beat. This number of P wave per QRS complex then. Third degree of AV block is a complete heart block. Ventricle will try to generate rhythms by its own called escape rhythm. In ECG, 2 independent rhythms can be seen. A regular P wave pattern represents atrial rhythm, and a regular but unusual slow QRS pattern represents the escape rhythm. For treatment, it's only needed for type 2 second degree AV block and third degree of AV block. It's where artificial cardiac pacemaker inserted that produce electrical impulse that initiate ventricular contraction at a predetermined rate. Last but not least, the famous practitioner of cardiology.
RJN was planned in 1990 following the successful operation on Dr. Mahathir in General Hospital then.
Tan Sri Dr. Yahya bin Awang, with the qualification of Diploma of Fellowship in Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow, MBBS in Monash University, Melbourne, Australia, Matriculation Victoria in Melbourne Grammar School, Australia, Dr. Yahya succeeded to make himself the winner of Merdeka Award. With over a span of 30 years as a cardiac surgeon, he already performed no less than 5,000 open heart surgery and trained more than 50 cardiac surgeons. Dr. Yahya, together with colleagues, pioneered the establishment of the National Heart Institute, IJN. He has published 23 specific papers in local and international specific journals and made 15 presentations at various conferences. He also became the first person that performing the first heart transplant in Malaysia in 1997. He is also probably the one keeping the former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad heart pumping by doing the bypass surgery. That's all from me. Thank you.